Welcome to the Grand Review. This is the show that's all about movie news and reviews. I'm your host, and probably not your Valentine, Garrett Ray. And joining me, you know him, you love him. He's got big hard eyes today. It's Andy Delia.
Thanks, Garrett.
Boy, that intro goes a lot smoother the second time I do it. We got about 20 minutes into this one before we realized we weren't recording. The soundboard lied to me. Anyway, this show, basically what we do is up front, we complain about technology failing us. Then we do a spoiler-free review of this week's movie, and then we jump into a spoilery review. And then we'll get into the news after that. But basically,
yes.
You can find links to all the different time codes in the show notes. And then if you're listening on Spotify, you can join in on the fun. We have a very strict rating system here. It's good, bad, great, or terrible. And I don't
know how strict we are about it, to be honest.
I mean, I'm pretty strict about it, but you go rogue. You're a loose cannon. Sometimes you're like, it was good.
Somebody's got to supply like different things on this podcast.
Yeah, well, he who denied it supplied it, if you will. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, so we fart around, and you can join in on the fun and vote on the poll on Spotify. Good, bad, great, or terrible, what you thought about that week's movie.
Yeah, and give us your feedback, too. We appreciate it.
Yes. Let us know what you thought about the movie. Let us know what you think about us. Hopefully it's good. If you love the show, share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies.
Yeah, if you're like 40 episodes in, I think we are at this point, or somewhere close to that, and you don't like us, what is wrong with you?
Well, to be fair, some people might just be jumping in for movies they're curious about.
Glutton for punishment.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why we do this. So this week, let's go ahead and jump into the review. This week we are talking about Love Hurts. This is the new film from one of the stunt guys from John Wick, the John Wick series, and I think 87 North Productions is behind the John Wick series, and so this guy has been a stuntman for them, and this is his directorial debut.
Right.
And so this is starring Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once, Short Round in Indiana Jones and Short Round in The Goonies. And
since we can never remember his character name.
And I refuse to. Especially, I could have looked it up before we started recording the second time.
Yeah, it's okay. Short Round sounds good.
Yeah, that works for me. This stars Ke Huy Quan, Ariana DeBois, Daniel Wu, who I believe plays the brother, Alvin. Knuckles, yeah. And then we have Sean Astin in there as well. And some other people who cares, honestly.
Kippy, the Australian guy that's
Rhys Darby, who I actually like him a lot. Like, he's one of those New Zealand guys that I think is really funny. But anyway, we always start with your opinion on the movie, Andy. So Love Hurts. What you think?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like this at all. And it's sad because I wanted to. And I was saying earlier, too, that both the films we got this week here, we got Love Hurts and we got Hard Eyes. Our film buyer saw both of them and said, yeah, both of them are just not good.
Yeah.
And I was like, that might just be your opinion. But
right,
nope.
Yeah. We both were sitting there going, I don't know, Love Hurts still looks like it could be fun.
Right. And yeah, it's just really soulless. It just goes along. You have no emotion or caring for any of the characters or people in the film. And it's just kind of flat, extremely flat.
Yeah. And I think that the thing that got me with it is that it's got very little plot and even less story. We were talking about this last night just because we both love movies and the craft of making them.
Right.
But there's a difference between plot and story. Plot is what happens. Story is why it happens and the effect of what happens.
Uh-huh.
And this is so thin on story. It's
non-existent.
It's frustrating because the whole thing is themed around this Valentine's Day aesthetic, and it's themed around this idea of anything can happen on Valentine's Day or whatever, and then it just tells you that these two characters were in love, but does none of the legwork to prove it to you. And when we get into spoilers, I have a very specific example of that that I want to go into in depth because it made me so angry.
Yeah, because there's no chemistry between the two leads at all.
Yeah, that's also a problem.
Right. And this just seems to be a cheap knockoff of Nobody.
Yes,
which I really liked.
And I have actually seen.
Yeah, I know. It does not have to go on the list.
It's, I mean, it may go back on there just for fun so I can watch it again.
So you can see like the good version of the film that we just saw.
Yeah, just rent Nobody. Buy Nobody. Go watch people at Walmart. Like, whatever. And the thing that also frustrated me is I don't know how it never like clicked in my brain watching the trailer that it was rated R. But this movie would have been better as a PG-13.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it is so over the top on everyone just trying to cuss to prove that this is the edgy version of this movie.
Right,
Blah.
which is just overblown.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I'm embarrassed for the people on the screen.
And the way you were laughing last night, I thought like I hated it and you liked it this week. So,
well, I'm not going to say I didn't have any fun, because
I mean, there are some fun moments to it, but for the most part, it's just so one-dimensionally flat.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's so focused on the fighting, and of course, like that's the point of the movie, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But the fighting varies in quality so much. Like there are within the span of 2 minutes, there is stuff where I was going whoa, and then stuff where I was like, I can tell he didn't even hit him. Like that, I can see it, and I can even tell that you cut out a frame to make it look like the impact hurt more.
I still thought it was. I thought it was funny that Marvin sounds more Asian than his brother did.
Right.
And he's supposed to be like this, Asian gangster and the guy in charge. And
Daniel Wu just comes in and is like, well, howdy, partner. I'm as American as you can get.
Yeah, Marvin sounds more intimidating than the main bad guy
I
does.
know. And I couldn't get over the fact that it was so tonally confused.
Yeah.
That, there was stuff where I wanted to enjoy it. And so I was laughing because I was like, this is the stuff I wanted. And then it would turn right around and be like, oh, no.
Well, even though the thing that I thought was kind of funny that I laughed at a couple of times was his assistant or the woman that works for him.
I loved her.
Falling in love with the Raven, which is like one of the
killers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the goofy stuff I want
to
see.
And that there should have been more of that.
Yeah. Also, I really like that actor. And I don't know if he had contacts in or whatever, but I was just like, this dude looks cool.
But there wasn't enough of that. And like this movie's short. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
And it seemed like it went on forever.
It definitely seemed like an hour 40 to me.
Yeah.
At least.
It's not.
And it's so fast paced that it shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
But I think there are literally the two henchmen that they're more heavily featured in the trailer, and it's the King and Ollie or something. Those guys, Otis. It's Otis and King. So Marshawn Lynch and Andre Erickson. These guys, I really thought were going to be like my favorite part of the
breakout
movie.
Stars of this film.
Yeah.
And, the nice secondary characters that you wait to see on screen and have fun with. And nope, none of that.
On one hand, the material they were given is not great.
No, it's not.
On the other hand, if I had to sit through any more scenes and watch their acting, I would probably have taken a straw to my own eyeball. And then not just that, but the guy who plays Rennie Merlot, who is he's the guy who kind of orchestrated the whole backstory of stealing from Marvin's brother.
Yeah.
I
remember
I didn't even hate him because he was a hateable character played well. I hated him because I didn't ever want to see his stupid face again. And I'm not the actor, but that character and the way he played him, I'm just like, I don't enjoy watching you so much that I actually want to leave. Yeah. I want to go out of this theater.
Well, he's a bad actor. He always I thought I was done with him after many, many years ago seeing that the fight movie Never Back Down. And with him and Amber Heard, and he's in that. And when he popped up last night in this, I'm like, oh, somebody gave you a role after many, many years of like you can't act. He
was in The Magnificent Seven. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, he just I did not enjoy watching him.
No,
even a tiny bit.
And he tries to be like funny and kind of like almost like the likable bad guy that. is supposed to interact with Knuckles, and there's just nothing.
There's no chemistry between Knuckles and his guys.
No.
And like, and I couldn't stand just watching these guys try to act like tough city boys. It was so annoying.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch was the most believable, but also the amount of cussing that's going on is so distracting from anything that would have made these characters like likable bad guys, lovable morons or whatever. It's just gross.
Right.
And I've watched plenty of movies where it didn't bother me. The cursing doesn't bother me at all. It makes perfect sense that they're cursing. And in this, it's like a teenager trying to be like, "You're not my real mom." Yeah. Hate it.
Like John Wick. John Wick has plenty of language because, this past week I was sick and I went back and watched like John Wick 1 and 2.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That sounds much better than what we experienced.
Yeah, well, even like I said, nobody is better than this. And
I have seen John Wick 1.
Oh, you haven't seen the rest of them?
I have not seen the rest of them, but I own 1, 2, and 3 on Blu-ray and do plan to get to them. But
4's good too.
That's what I've heard. Is that one Parabellum? No, 3 is Parabellum.
No, 3's Parabellum. The 3 was the one that Jessica was introduced to this and was ushered out just as quickly because I remember we saw it here, and after the movie she was like, if there's a 4th one, you're on your own. And I was like, okay, because she doesn't like violence with like no point, but
she didn't see what they did to that dog if she didn't watch the first one.
I keep arguing that John Wick does have a story. It's not just senseless violence all the way through.
Yeah, this absolutely is. And it feels like it wants to go, you get the idea, and just, act on the goodwill of the audience who understands what that type of story would be. But even if it's the same beats as another movie, like, you have to have the beats. Otherwise, like, okay, in drumming, it's like the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's the basis of almost every song. But you can't just not have the drums and still have the song. It's not complicated. Just hit the beat and make sure that it's there so that there's some substance. And also it would give us some moment to breathe in between some of these fight scenes. And it would make the pace feel like, and it slows down, and then boom, something happens, and you're back in, and your interest is piqued. And this is just like, I guess that's going on. Yeah, that was a fight. I mean, I did enjoy a lot of the fight that happens in Marvin's house. You want to get into spoilers?
Yeah, might as well.
I'm going to give this a terrible. I was sitting on bad last night, but I'm slipped in.
And I didn't even convince you of that. You came up with that on your own.
Wait, my gosh, did I have an original thought?
Wait, hold on. I got to write this down.
Yeah, hold on. What's the time? Not good. Terrible.
It's terrible.
And that makes me so angry to say because I really was looking forward to this. I like the scene in Marvin's house or apartment or whatever it is because when Marshawn Lynch or when King and Otis, then he goes tag team and they're flipping him over like 4 different ways. Right. It all looks really good and it all looks like it really hurts.
Yeah.
The problem with this is, I mean, you're not going to not be able to draw comparisons between this and Jackie Chan. It's not just because Ke Huy Quan is Asian as well. It's because that's the tone that they're going for. Like the tone is, this is, a guy who is kind of always, he's a dude who can kick butt, but he also is on his back foot the whole time. Like,
right.
He's really on his back foot throughout most of the movie because he's been out.
But even for something like Jackie Chan's worst film, I think Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Which was the first thing he did for New Line. At least it's fun to watch. This just isn't even that fun or interesting to watch.
And the thing is, it's not that it's completely removed from that sector. It's that it's just 5 degrees off. Like there's the part when they're in his apartment where the guy's got a knife, it was in his office. The guy's got a knife. He picks up a staple puller and blocks the knife with it and is holding with just the thing.
And that's a Jackie Chan-ism.
That's a total Jackie Chan-ism. But he fails at it. And here's why. Because Jackie Chan would have looked at it like, that's working? Oh my gosh. It did, moved on to the next thing.
Right.
Ke Huy Quan does it and goes, that works. He didn't even look at it. I don't remember. I just remember watching that moment and going, you didn't get it. You didn't get the tone.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not even ragging on the performers. If anything, I'm going like, the director knows how to do a fight scene, sure, but he doesn't know how to do character in a fight scene.
But is that really the director's fault? That's more like, if anything should be the fault of this film being as bad as it is, it's the writing. And it took 3 people to write this thing too.
Do you know how many writers it took to do Charlie's Angels Reborn or whatever the sequel one was that they did?
Well, there's 2 with
not the new one that was directed by Elizabeth Banks. It was the second one in the series with Cameron Diaz.
I haven't seen any of them I avoid those.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one, not great. Second one, also worse. How many writers would you say it takes to write a Charlie's Angels sequel?
5.
Try 8.
8?
8.
What are they, first year like film students?
I don't know. I think they were all just people who like to see what they can stick in their nose.
Yeah, because then there was the one with Kristen Stewart that was like, I avoided that like the plague.
Yeah, I think everyone else did too.
Yeah. Because at least like I understand the original one with Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu.
Sure.
Like there's and Bill Murray was Bosley in that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see the appeal to it. It didn't look good, so I stayed away from it.
You were correct to do so, but you did the opposite of that today. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
but this. Okay, so here's the big, like, really good example of how this movie falls flat on its face. It's the final fight. Okay, the final. Rose shows up at Alvin's whatever business it is. Do they sell boba tea? Do they sell videos? I don't know what they do. The headquarters of this criminal enterprise is this crappy, like, 18-foot by 20-foot store downtown nowhere that sells what I can only presume are secondhand DVDs and boba tea. That's all I know. And so she shows up there and gets, surrounded by all of Alvin's guys. Mr. Knuckles, excuse me.
Yeah.
His name is Alvin. That's your main bad guy? God. Anyway.
Who's the Chipmunks?
Right. Oh, gosh. I would have killed for chipmunks in this movie.
Or gerbils.
Yeah, or gerbils. You know what? Let's just watch G-Force. Let's just do it. We did it.
And it's the same runtime as this is, too.
That's right, it is. But yeah, she gets there, and then she gets surrounded. They take her down, and then Marvin shows up right after because having any sort of suspense would take time, and we can't do that in a movie. And so,
at least a good movie.
No, and he shows up, and he starts fighting, and he fights because he loves her. And because he doesn't,
but yet there's no chemistry at all.
I'm sorry. Let me correct that. He fights because the movie has told us he loves her, and he did so. He told us in a voiceover as well,
right?
And when he does this, they keep cutting back to her face, and she's just like, it's the same shot every time, and she's just moving her eyes back and forth. The way you do that is you have to get shots set up where as he's fighting, she is looking at him, and you can see her reacting to what he's doing in the same shot. It draws a connection between them because the camera can see both characters. Doing it in separate shots physically separates them and makes it feel like there is a gap between them. The other thing is that they never really like fight together. Most of the time, after she breaks herself free of the two guys who are distracted by Ke Huy Quan killing everybody, she just breaks free and then has her own side adventure. So you never get this feeling of like, okay, let's give it to Argyle, because they freaking, when she comes back around to remembering who she is, they fight together, and it's glorious. You get why they like each other. You get why there was this relationship. You understand that they have an unspoken bond. In this movie, I don't care.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to put it. Yeah, it's there's no connection with the audience to this film at all. It's just completely detached.
And the thing is, it wouldn't take much to tweak it to make it great. Like, really.
And I would really be curious to see like the director given actually a decent script, and even using Ke Huy Quan again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but just not the same writers as this film, and see what would happen there.
Do the fights basically the same. That's fine. Except maybe check your camera angles a little bit so you can see that the hit actually looks like it hit. Because there's stuff like where they tag team and he goes flipping onto the kitchen countertop that looks incredible. And then in the final fight scene, he's got a guy up against the jukebox, which stopped working for no reason, just because it was dramatic to have the guy die as the music like.
Although I wanted that jukebox in my house.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But the jukebox sustained no damage. It should have continued working. Made no sense. But after that, he hits him, and you can see there's like a 6-inch gap between his fist and the other guy.
Yeah.
And you can totally tell. Not only that, but there's a shot where the Property brothers are in this as a realtor. I don't know if it's 2 of them or just one of them. I didn't look it up because I don't care. But, oh, no, it's just one. It's Drew Scott. But these freaking... The accountant, Kippy, runs out of the house that he was being held captive in and runs past the Property brother. And I swear, on my own grave, he was green screened in.
Oh, yeah.
And it was not good.
No.
And then there was also the shot where King is like, let's Swiss cheese this mother. And they're standing out there, and there's a shot of them like reloading before they go into the house. Green screen. Total green screen shot. Like just
see, and those really shots that like they don't need to be green screened.
Why? Yeah, like, and I can get like sometimes you just can't get back out to the location. You need a pickup shot for it. Maybe they originally weren't planning to cut out there, but they needed to for some reason. Like, there's reasons to do it, but also maybe do your keying a little bit better so that someone who has to wear glasses can't tell.
Like myself.
like
or both of us, yeah.
And and I know this is probably not like a $100 million movie. The budget on this is $18 million, so it's not a super high budget thing. And I will say, like, the cinematography looks really good, and it's very saturated in bubblegum.
Yeah, and I mean the fight scenes don't look horrible.
No.
But when there's nothing behind it, it's kind of hard to like invest yourself into the story and into the actions of the characters. It's just not there.
And everyone's a terrible person. The only person who's not is Sean Astin, and he gets boba tea straw in the eyeball.
He's 7 minutes and
7 minutes and 38 seconds. I estimated. Yeah, that was on the podcast we lost.
Yeah,
Sean Astin's kind of the best part of the movie.
Yeah, and he's only in it for 7 minutes.
So little time. Yeah, and the other thing that I liked but wish there was more of. Actually, here's what this whole movie should have been. The Raven is after Ke Huy Quan, and Ashley is trying to stop him. That should have been the whole movie.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That would have been a lot more fun than what we actually saw.
I would watch a whole movie about the Raven. I think he's such an interesting character, and I love the idea of this dichotomy of like this tortured artist, but he's also a killer, and he's also kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Like
and the actor is pretty good,
yeah.
too.
And I just kept looking at him going like, that's a cool dude, I'd love to just sit down and talk with that guy. And yeah, all the like there's so much fun creative stuff with the like the way he's got his knives in his boots and he pulls those out and he's got the feather darts and all that stuff. And he's really formidable. And I liked all of that. I loved that Ashley she calls Marvin and she goes, so there's a dead poet in your room. You might not know that. Maybe you do, but you have to listen to this poem. I was like, oh my God, she's going to fall for the dead guy. Because she's so morbid already. I thought that was fun to do.
Yeah, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, she just instantly is in love. And that's it. But you know what? They're such melodramatic characters, those two, that it makes sense. The rest of the characters, it seems like it's trying to go for melodrama and, this over-the-top ridiculousness. But the only thing that it goes over the top on is just cursing for no reason.
Right.
And I get it. People do actually talk like that. I understand. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. All right? But that being said, I like it.
Well, that's like this is when I'm on my best behavior.
On the
time that we're on the show. But when it gets to be just so much and it's overkill and it doesn't add anything at all to the story.
And at a certain point, you're just like, that was so unnecessary. Like, it's not even
Because even Flight Risk had a good amount of cursing in it too, but it didn't detract or anything, or we weren't offended by it, or
no.
And not that we were offended by it in this, but
I was.
Flight Risk was an R-rated film, and it very well should have been.
Yeah.
This one, I don't understand why they went the route that they did. Because they would have had at least more people come see this if it was PG-13.
I think if they had PG-13 this and just I get
drop the one F-bomb where you can do PG-13 and get away with it.
Yeah. And I think that I understand the temptation to do a drop you right into the beginning, and he's this mild-mannered guy, and then he has to break back out and you see who he really is.
Right.
But I don't think that's how you can tell the love story. I don't think it works, especially in this movie. It can work. You can make anything work if you're a good writer. Looks down at screen.
Good footnote, yes.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where they needed to set up the relationship, the love, and the loss of having to let her go to save her, and then jump into how he is now. Or do a flashback scene that's not just almost trying to be avant-garde, here's the sad voiceover and these quick cuts of a scene. So it's not a real scene. It's like a montage of what would have been a scene. And we needed to believe that they would actually love each other. I don't believe she loves anyone but herself, for one. And two, she's just a terrible person. They all suck, so I'm not rooting for any of them.
Yeah.
Until Sean Astin says he believes in absolution, he believes in second chances, he gives that speech. I was just like, dang, I forgot Sean Astin's actually pretty good. And then he's dead, and the rest of the movie is bad.
Yeah, watching blood leak out of the straw out of his eyeball.
Yeah. That was so much blood. I laughed really hard.
It was just so over the top that's why both of us were laughing at it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's I obviously don't think this is good, but it is just shocking enough that I'm oh, okay.
So then the straw thing carried into Hard Eyes as well. So
did it really?
Yeah, it did, because the main female character in Hard Eyes, she has one of the metal straws that she takes with her everywhere, and it ends up being an instrument of destruction later on in the film. So I was like, man,
what are the odds?
I was seriously two bad films, two things with straws surrounding them, and like you said, you got spared not having to watch Hard Eyes. I am stupid and just have a thing for horror films, and I still watched it even though I was told it was bad. And it's
just looking at the trailer, I'm like, I can't do this one, because just the fact that they show that they barely escaped the serial killer coming out of one of their closets, and then it cuts to a shot of them right outside that door, and they're giving each other little lovey-dovey looks, and are you okay?
And you're right. She looks exactly the same throughout the entire night of the film too, with her, and she looks perfect.
Look, I get that we want to see people who look good on screen. That's fine. All right, whatever. But let her keep on the lipstick so she always looks like she has very luscious lips. Yeah. But take a cork, burn the end of it, and just scrub some dirt on there if she's been crawling around in the dirt. It's not hard.
Yeah.
I think I'm angry this week. Maybe Valentine's Day is not for me.
That's not true. I'm sure you and Hannah will have a great time.
Absolutely. She's fantastic. I love that woman. I love love. Love hurts, but it's good, It's totally worth it.
So then the whole thing with Hard Eyes too, the two main characters are the dumbest character of the dumbest human beings ever.
Are we just into Hard Eyes at this point? Screw Love Hurts.
No, it's just another bad film this week that I watched.
Goodness. So this one though, it's got this convoluted plot about how one of the guys got other people involved in stealing money from Mr. Knuckles, who was scraping money off.
And if anybody steals from Knuckles, they die.
Yeah, that's the one thing I understand.
That line of dialogue got repeated so many times, I got sick of hearing it.
We could have had a lingering glance between our two main characters so that we cared about them, but instead we hear Knuckles. If you steal from Knuckles, you die. The other thing is they do nothing to establish him as actually a threatening presence. For one, Daniel Wu he doesn't have that. It's not like...
Doesn't.
It's not like when Willem Dafoe walks down an aisle and smiles at you. That I'm terrified immediately.
Right,
yeah. I poop my pants in the aisle. But like this guy, I'm just like, yeah, you look like you have a bad attitude, but like, what are you gonna do? Call and report me to HR?
I was waiting for Knuckles from Sonic to appear.
Now that would have been a movie. But this one. They do nothing to establish him, and then at the very end, they just want to throw in remember, brother, you've never beaten me in a fight. And I'm like, prove it. Prove it to me. What are you doing here? Like, how did you keep him under your thumb? How did you use him? How is it that this guy, who you call your beautiful monster, got manipulated by what? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, by money.
But saying, remember, you've never beat me in a fight, and tonight after you lose, you'll be back here with me. It's like, so he was afraid of his brother, and that's the whole thing. But he's just drank boba tea the whole time. Like, I'm not scared of the boba tea guy.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Take like the little balls and just start shooting them at me?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm so sorry. I actually spit out.
See, even that would have been more interesting than what we actually saw.
If he took a big bite of watermelon and did like a machine gun, like they do in the cartoons,
yeah,
do something fun. and it's
just
I don't
nothing.
know. It just it's a big nothing burger of a movie, and that is so disappointing because I want to see. I love the physicality of Ke Huy Quan's work.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoy kind of just like something that it's bubblegum and pop, but actually has a heart. I really love. And this one is it's completely heartless, despite what the advertising would tell you.
The candy hearts are about the only thing that you see in this film that's resembling that.
Yeah. My reaction to this movie is similar to Ashley's reaction to being offered literally anything on Valentine's Day, where she literally hissed at people, and I just thought that was incredibly charming. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Love Hurts?
Yeah, it hurt watching.
Yeah, there we go. We did it, everybody. All right, real quick, do you want to just spoil the whole plot of Hard Eyes since no one will be seeing it and it's bad?
Yeah, so Hard Eyes, it's there's a Hard Eyes killer that has now. It started off in everything is summarized at the beginning of this film. It's a Hard Eyes killer that was in Philadelphia, Boston, and now is in Seattle, which is the beginning of the film.
Okay, so he jumps around. He's not got his own hunting grounds.
Right. So the whole story is this guy kills couples. And then there's a male and female that actually just work together. They're not even a couple. The Hard Eyes killer sees them, assimilates them as a couple, and then they're the next target.
Wait, so that's our main characters?
Yeah.
But don't they have a meet cute at the coffee shop in the trailer?
They do, but they're not even, they work together.
How do you have a meet cute with someone you work with? That doesn't make sense.
He's flown in as a specialist she works for a jewelry company. She made this horrible ad that nobody likes, and he's come in to rescue her. And so now they're being stalked by this light up face mask purge looking thing.
It's so stupid looking.
And they're just the dumbest characters ever written for a horror film. They should have died several times over before the end of the film. And then this film takes, the usual, your biggest star, which in this case is Jordana Brewster from the Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. There's your killer.
Really?
But it's like there's 3 of them.
Oh.
And it's not even that interesting.
So they tried to do a Scream, but badly.
Right. And then it almost like tries to make fun of itself and fails miserably. Like it's not funny. It just comes off as very stupid.
It's trying to be tongue in cheek, but instead it's just like got its head up its butt.
Exactly. And like that's the end where the main fight scene between Jordana Brewster, the other person that's working with her, and then she pulls out like this metal reusable straw that she's been using the entire film and then stabs her in the neck with it. And yeah,
I'm bored just listening to it.
Yeah. And that's I was
and
watching.
That's not your fault. Just to be clear, I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of let's see if it took more than 3 writers to write Hard Eyes.
Probably did.
Is this an 8-writer situation? Because that
if it is, that's really sad. Because I could have written
really
something better.
funny. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's see how many writers. 3 writers. We got Philip Murphy, Christopher Landon, and Michael Kennedy.
I see a pattern this week.
Yeah. Comedy comes in 3s, but quality apparently does not.
Yeah.
Now I have to use that joke in 2 different variations for it to be funny. Okay. Well,
it took three writers for Hard Eyes, really?
I mean, sometimes like one person will do a draft and then someone will come in and they'll change like 75% of it, but because there's still 25% remaining, they have to do the first one. And then, so like by the end of it, it's completely changed. But if the first person had the rights or retained some, like I have to have a credit on this no matter what, like it doesn't necessarily mean they all work together. But that being said, sounds real bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who did it. It sounds real bad.
Yeah, so I left even before it was over.
I saw 5 minutes before the actual end.
I saw the reveal who the killer was and like the three-peat or threesome or however you want to word that
probably
was
not that way.
It. And not to mention too, like about 3/4 of the way through the film, they think they've killed the guy with this over-the-top scene too, where the main female character gets blood on her. And then she just vomits like repeatedly over the killer too, or the person they think is the killer that's dead.
Do you see the vomit, or is this like a lean down out of frame?
No, it's full frame. It's just gross.
It's funny when a baby does it at such a high volume that it sends someone flying. It's not funny when an adult does it.
Well, but even when you're building up for it too, she's like, "Oh, I got some in my mouth."
And
then
so
and
not a movie
buckets.
if you have emetophobia, which is the fear of vomit.
And like I said, like the characters are just stupid.
Yeah,
they should have been killed.
The guy who says "Don't get killed" in the trailer, is he one of them?
No.
Okay, well I was wrong about that then.
That's her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend that they see.
Oh, so he's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it takes all types to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
Anything else on that's even worth mentioning?
Nope.
All right.
Another stupid slasher film that can go by the wayside.
How's the cinematography? How's the sound?
Basic.
How's the wife? How are the kids?
The family's great.
Oh, good.
Another rollover being sick this week.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you were sick.
No, it wasn't your fault. It was Drew's.
Yeah, but somehow I feel the need to take responsibility for it. Because we blame Drew for every bad movie you have to see, so I feel like I should take this one.
This wasn't his fault. This was I voluntarily watched this.
This
thing
one
too,
is on you
because we knew like from the trailer for Hard Eyes that it was going to be bad.
Yeah,
but I wanted to see how bad, and it did not disappoint me in that respect. That because our film buyer again, like he loves horror films like I do, and he's like this one's just. He's like, you might have fun making fun of it, and we might have fun making fun of it too at some point, but. Honestly, I think the only good like Valentine's Day horror film I've ever seen is My Bloody Valentine, the 1981 version.
Yeah,
like that has a good story, good kills, and is a decent horror film all the way around, and it still stands the test of time too.
Yeah,
like the reboot's pretty good too, but there was a lot of gimmicky 3D stuff in that. But the original
was
one,
early 2000s, right?
Yeah. Where like 3D was like really kind of making a comeback.
I think we're due for another 3D comeback. They do it every 10 years or so, and I think someone's going to start making 3D TVs for home again. I think.
Oh, really?
I'm just calling it like in the next 2 years. I believe we'll see another 3D push, but it'll be a new glassesless 3D is going to be the next thing.
Well,
they did it on the Nintendo 3DS.
That was the future at one point. Like that, even the technology that I saw in CinemaCon in Vegas the one year was 3D without the glasses. That's what they were heading toward.
Yeah.
The problem is that nobody cared.
Right. Yeah.
And nobody wanted to see it. And then there was that whole thing with the high frame rate that didn't take off either. Yeah. And I know it was I think it was The Hobbit. They showed part of it in the high frame rate, and it looked so phony That it was very off-putting.
There were 48 frame per second showings of The Hobbit and 24 frame per second.
Yeah,
and
you were supposed to pay a premium
frames,
for that too.
Yes, so you pay more for it, and it looked worse. And then Gemini Man was the one that wasn't just 48 and not just 60. Andy, let's do 120 frames a second for an entire movie with
Jesus.
a CGI not Weird Al, but Will Smith.
I would mind the
watch.
Weird.
Give me 400 frames a second.
Yeah,
man,
if it was UHF 2, I would have watched that.
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely.
Gemini Man, that's another one I avoided.
Yeah, well, so did everyone else. And the thing is, like, the director, I can't remember who directed it.
I think it was Ang Lee was on that one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I believe
it was a big
correct.
name.
And there were only like 6 theaters in the whole U.S. you could see it at its full frame rate.
Yeah.
And no one wanted that. So anyway, but yeah, 3D, like ever since the 1940s, there's a push every 10 to 15 years to try and make it more like the thing everyone gets, because you can sell stuff at a higher price with it. But it never, Ang Lee, you're right.
Yep.
It just never sticks because it's a gimmick. It's really gimmicky. That being said,
we're gonna see kind of roll back around in Christmas this year though when new Avatar comes out.
Yes.
Ash and Fire.
And I will never forget as a small child wearing red and blue glasses and watching Spy Kids 3D. And when Carmen reached her hand out from the screen, I screamed.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
No, I only saw that on DVD. Didn't get to see it in theaters. But
yeah, it's unfortunate that I've actually seen that, period.
Yeah, dream.
Taylor Lautner, too. That was one of his first.
Good for him?
Yeah.
No.
It's a bad. Robert Rodriguez, like, seriously, you need to go back to do stuff like, although I would say stuff like The Faculty, but the redoing The Faculty I read the other day.
Are they really?
And Rodriguez is producing it. Yeah. That's kind of it. It's kind of a neat premise.
I want another Alita Battle Angel because I
actually like that.
I like
movie.
that movie. I don't get why
I thought it was really
it.
good. Yeah, I couldn't understand why people hated it either. I thought the story to that was good. The graphics were good. Unless like everybody, was it based on a video game? Because
it's based on a manga, I believe.
Okay, so maybe that's just like all the anime nerds like just revolted it.
I don't know if it strays from the source material at all. I watched it because I met someone. I wasn't like super interested in it.
And it had Christoph Waltz.
It had Christoph Waltz. That is, he's good.
Yeah.
But I met someone who was like, I can't remember if she was the gaffer or a grip on it, but I talked to someone and she said it actually turned out really good, and like we're all really proud of it. And and then I went back and watched it, and I was like, yeah, this is fun, and it's a cool world, and like
it's almost what AI should have been.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Because AI, like, that's one of the Spielberg films I absolutely hate. Mm-hmm. And I blame Kubrick for that, too, because that was Kubrick's thing.
Well, he's dead. You can blame him for anything.
Well,
now.
he was supposed to do
himself.
that, and then he died.
Yeah.
And then Spielberg, as honor to Kubrick, like, made this film, and I was like, no, you should have just left it alone.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, Alita's what AI should have been.
Yeah, it's such an interesting film.
It is.
So speaking of hard eyes, what movie would you say there's a specific movie it might remind you of?
Hard Eyes?
Yeah. Would it perhaps feel like it was guided by the true North Star of creativity that is Jason Lives?
Really?
That's what the director says. He says,
no.
So
Jason Lives was better than that was.
So Josh Rubin is the director of this.
I thought you were going to say Jason X there for a second. That would have been even funnier.
That would have been very funny. I wish I'd thought of that as a joke. But yeah, he was talking to Bloody Disgusting. He said, my gold standard, my North Star was Tommy McLaughlin's Jason Lives. That film, as brutal as it is, silly as it is fun. And that was The White Whale. Then everything after that was Searching Within Myself, the kid that loved rom-coms like Sleepless in Seattle, which is funny and sweet as it is heartbreaking. Super well acted, but also silly, etc.
So this was supposed to be Jason Lives meets Sleepless in Seattle.
Yes. And instead, it's more like sleeping in the theater.
Big pile of dookie. No, I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, yeah. No. Go outside and take a nap.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said... I don't know, man.
Once you get to the point in like the Friday the 13th films, you're not really looking for like to be a scary movie. You're looking at it to be more of a comedy than anything else. Yeah. And after like 4, that's what they became. 5, they had the whole thing with the fake Jason that everybody revolted against and didn't like it, and me included. It was a stupid idea. But then Jason Lives is actually a funny film, and it's got the great Alice Cooper song at the end of it. He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask, which, like I actually like that song.
It's fun.
It is. It's very catchy. But then the ultimate, like, outside, Jason X is just horrible. And not even like funny, redeeming, but the funny one is the one with Jason Takes Manhattan. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I know people talk about it just being hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you missed the North Star, buddy. Anyway, okay,
you missed the whole boat.
I have something for you. I'm going to pitch you three things. Okay. I'm going to tell you all of these things, and you tell me if those together are enough to get you in a movie theater or not.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Number 1, an airplane. Number 2, Josh Hartnett. Number 3, a chainsaw. Are you going to watch this movie?
Sure.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Chainsaws are box office gold.
That's true. Except for that one movie that was, what was it? It was really bad. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's a classic just because you didn't like it.
It's not got a reason to exist. It's bad. It's so bad. And also,
there's worse 70s drive-in horror films that are worse than that.
Sure, but there are also people who I'm sure had worse thoughts than Hitler. They're both bad. Anyway.
That's making a really bold comparison. Like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Third Reich is very different.
I would presume the world would be better without both of them.
No,
you don't have to agree with me. It's just an opinion.
You're right. I don't agree with you.
You're correct. I am right.
I like.
You
just wanted me to say that on mic.
Hey, man, you walked into it. That's not my fault.
I did.
So this movie's called Fight or Flight. It was released back in Germany in December. So it's already been out there, but it's going to be coming to some other territories this month. And basically, a mercenary takes on the job of tracking down a target on a plane, but must protect her when they're attacked by people trying to kill both of them. And Josh
sounds
Hartnett
like a Netflix film,
doesn't it? Really? Yeah. But Josh Hartnett says he does his own stunts in it, there's a chainsaw on a plane, and I think that's enough for me, honestly.
It almost sounds like with the Ray Liotta film that was done too with Lauren Holly, Turbulence.
Oh yeah.
It almost kind of sounds like that.
Yeah.
But he was a serial killer on a plane.
Well, fingers crossed we'll get one of those too. Just throw everything on the plane. Let's get snakes. Let's get serial killers. Let's get a chainsaw. Let's get hard eyes. Let's get hard eyes on the plane. He can hide in the bathroom, and then like when someone tries to join the Mile High Club, there he is. He just pops up out of the like suction.
Well, that
toilet.
happened in Snakes on a Plane.
Oh man, I should see that movie. Although
it's funny.
I contest that if you're gonna watch it, the TV edit version is funnier.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Have you not seen that clip?
No.
The TV edit where he says, I'm done with these MF snakes on this MF plane. This is the TV edit. He goes, I'm done with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. And it's so good. And it's like a bad lip reading.
And he was talking about Disney executives, wasn't he?
Yeah. Dude, it's so funny. Like, I love that. I love that clip so much.
I'll have to find that. That's pretty amusing.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it and send it to you because it's so good. But anyway, this is the directorial debut of James Madigan, who previously directed episodes of Medal of Honor and Runaways, and was second unit director on G.I. Joe Retaliation, or Red 2, Insurgent,
Red 2 I liked. Both those Red films I liked. They're decent.
The Meg is fun.
First one.
Yeah, it's silly.
I never bothered with the second one.
It's not that much worse, honestly. It's
really?
dumb. It's dumb shark fun. Yeah.
Okay.
He was second unit director on Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I like that one.
Snake Eyes.
Which one?
The one that was just his spin-off that happened like 3 or 4 years ago.
There's a Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage directed by Brian De Palma.
No. We're talking G.I. Joe.
That one, I kind of, because that's Henry Golding in that too.
I never saw it.
It's not bad.
Okay.
I took Drew to see that.
He also was second unit director on Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So he's done a lot of directing of like second unit stuff, which sometimes is story beats and sometimes is just action pickup stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see this. I want to see Josh Hartnett do something good just because I'm curious.
Yeah, other than Trap. I still say if you want to see Josh Hartnett do something good, go back and watch Halloween H2O.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know, hope you park next to him at a Sonic and watch him order lunch, because that's probably better than Trap.
Or, yeah, Trap just was very disappointing too. Or Josh Hartnett was in The Faculty as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So he's done some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's in 30 Days of Night, isn't he?
Yes,
he's good in that.
Yeah, that one I really liked.
I cannot believe I've seen that movie and loved it so much.
I can't either.
It came on Spike TV once, and we just watched it there.
Go find the graphic novel that it's based on. It's even better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the comic book that they based on anything. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, that's interesting. Speaking of things that are really good but we'll never see, Will Forte says that Coyote versus Acme being shelved still, quote, makes my blood boil. And I agree with Will Forte. I want this. I want this so bad. They wrote it off as a tax thing. And this is what he said when he was speaking with MovieWeb. This is a direct quote. He says, "My thoughts were that it is a bull." And he said, it's such a delightful movie. It deserves so much more better than what it got. I can't tell you possibly why the decision was made not to release it, but it makes my blood boil.
So
and thank you for asking me about it, because I like talking about the movie. It was a movie where it's Coyote versus Acme. So the Acme, like there's some court case between the Coyote. He's suing Acme because none of the stuff to catch the Roadrunner has worked.
Oh,
that's the whole plot of the movie, and I just think that's a great idea.
It is,
and there's going to be so much slapstick, and it's like it's a Who Framed Roger Rabbit mix of live action and 2D animation stuff, and I want that so bad in my life. And look, I do not advocate crime, but I would not personally turn in someone if I was aware that they had broken into Warner Brothers headquarters, stolen the finished cut of this film, and I don't know, posted it on an anonymous server where people could download it and watch it. I'm not saying you should do that because it'd be breaking the law, but I am saying I wouldn't tell the law if you did.
Well, I know that the movie coming out with Porky Pig and Daffy Duck, and it's the alien invasion thing, that got moved to like mid-March now from the end of February.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's not even Warner Brothers that's putting it out. That's the thing I was trying to figure out what it's got to be bad. And the trailer for it looks bad, but like I'm not even sure that I want to play it here. But there's like no other kid film until Snow White, and it comes out the week before Snow White does.
Oh no.
Yeah. But Snow White's going to be kind of debatable too if that's actually a kid film as well.
We got to watch that, and I don't want to.
I don't either. But there's nothing else that week. Oh, that's not true. I think Alto Nights comes out the same week as Snow White does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
So we have to decide between watching a movie we're actually interested in, Alto Nights, or sitting through Snow White so we can be on the internet dog pile.
Yeah, because we already know the outcome of Snow White.
It's not good. There's no way it's good. And even if it is, even if the movie's fantastic, you know what the problem is? Rachel Ziegler poisoned it and no one wants it.
Right.
Even if you come out with Citizen Kane 2, Snow White, starring Rachel Ziegler, and it's that like amazing, mind-blowing sort of story that everyone heralds for years and years and years, they're going to be like, yeah, but it's got Rachel Ziegler. Like, I can't stand her.
Oh, I can't either.
I cannot stand her.
And it's a good thing. Like I saw, the last Hunger Games film before that because, like that way it just wasn't like revolted. Okay, so the Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. That's the one. It got moved from the end of February to the mid-March.
I'm sorry. I aged 4 years by the time you got to the end of that title.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not even Warner Brothers is putting it out.
Just call it.
It's a film company called Ketchup.
Never judge a company based on its name. Like that's unless it's like we kill people pictures or like that's
Terrifier.
That's probably not good. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, good luck, Ketchup. Not a big condiments person myself, but Tom Cruise passed out doing stunts on Mission Impossible 8.
Okay.
So that's fun. One of the stunts in Final Reckoning finds Cruise clinging to the wing of a biplane as it zips through the air at 10,000 feet.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
And the actor told Empire that it actually caused him to pass out on several occasions, saying, quote, "When you stick your face out going over 120 to 130 miles an hour, you're not getting oxygen. So I had to train myself how to breathe. There were times I would pass out physically. I was unable to get back into the cockpit."
At least it's not like Iron Eagle 3 Aces. Like there's actually a third one where like they're taking on Russian MiGs with like World War II biplanes or World War I biplanes.
Why does that sound incredible?
And poor Louis Gossett Jr. Like I don't want to tarnish that man that he's passed away, but he definitely he needed the paycheck.
Yeah, I mean it's a living.
Yep.
Like that's one of the things is there's actors who are like, how did you end up in so much bad stuff? But then you remember the Flintstones, and it's like there's a bird who calls the end of the workday in the Flintstones, and they yank on his tail feathers to make him scream, and then he goes, "It's a living," and it's like, yeah, it is.
So you're referring to Flintstones like the animated or the live action?
What live action?
Well, there's two.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure you're mistaken. No one would, in their right minds, go and make a children's movie starring people who should not have been in that movie. That doesn't exist.
Well, the second one is even more people that should not have been in that movie.
Gosh, it's
Stephen Baldwin.
I am sure that you are mistaken and that does not exist, but I could not believe it when I watched it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this Mission Impossible, and I need to see Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, which, the first part of it. Well, it's not called Part 1, but it's pretty good.
That's what all the promotional materials said.
I know.
So I will bring it up forever.
I still have a poster with it that says Part 1.
Yep, they did not think that through.
No.
Fantastic Four. We watched the trailer for this week, and Fantastic Four: First Steps. To be very clear, we're not talking about the one that got disintegrated by a mutant in
the one
Deadpool.
With Miles Teller.
No, I was thinking about. I was thinking about the one with Ian Gruffin or whatever his name is.
Ian Gaffood.
Ian Gaffood. Is that how it's said?
Yeah.
Ian Gaffood.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Anyway, there is an accusation that AI was used in a Fantastic Four poster, specifically because there's a hand holding a flag that looks like it only has 3 fingers and a thumb. But you know thumb's not a finger technically? Isn't that annoying?
No,
that's such crap.
You just think it's annoying.
No, it's a finger. That's what all these are. What else would that be? It's a digit. Well, it's got my number, that's for sure. I'm very funny.
I laughed at you, so
I appreciate it. Pity laugh is still a laugh. Marvel spokesperson says that AI was not used in the creation of the Fantastic Four poster. And so, they're saying, no, these are all actual photography or, just normal, we made it up stuff. The thing about the AI thing is, if you're mad about it because it takes away artist jobs, fine. If you're mad that if the artist gets paid the same for the poster, whether he uses AI to generate a crowd or goes and sources 300 stock images to put together, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
If you just put the prompt into an AI and print it out and be like, yeah, that's good enough, that sucks. But that being said, people were really, really, really up in arms about this online.
I didn't even see the poster.
Losing their minds. So this is... I'm showing you one. I'll put these on our Instagram at Grand Review Pod and our
I'm waiting to
Facebook.
actually get a physical one so I can put it up in my office.
They look so good. They look like they're not even focused on the heroes. They're focused on the environment around the heroes. I think that's such an interesting tactic.
Yeah, and I think this one's definitely I'm definitely curious from the trailer. It looks really good. and setting it all in like the 1950s and doing like the Atomic Family kind of thing.
Yeah.
Works.
And we talked about this last night. The trailer feels different from the way that Marvel movies have felt for so long. Like it feels like it got some sincerity injected into it.
Because those ones with Jessica Alba, they're garbage.
Yes.
And then we've talked about this several times. I never bothered with the Miles Teller one.
Most people did not. And it's a disaster of we don't have time, Andy. We don't have time.
That's a whole other podcast.
I like the idea of this 1960s inspired kind of retro thing. And I love the look of the Thing.
I do.
He looks so that's how he used to look in the comics, and it always kind of looked goofy to me. Having my first introduction to the Thing was in the Fantastic Four movie from 2005 or whatever it was. Like that's where I first learned about them, and then got into comics after that and read some Fantastic Four comics and stuff. But I love that they just full on committed to it, and it shows that you can do.
It is kind of funny. It looks like the Roger Corman one that never came out.
Yeah. That's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
I love. Yeah, that one's so fun.
So that might see the light of day now with just to kind of hype up the new film.
No, they will never release that. I guarantee. I will eat whatever is left at the bottom of the drains in this theater if they officially release that. I kid you not. I am that certain.
Well, now that Corman's dead, there's nothing stopping that.
2 failed Fantastic Four franchises in a row, and then reminding people of that.
Yeah, but there's some fanboys out there that really want to get a hold of that Roger Corman one if they haven't already.
Yeah, but if I will say this. If we get that before we get Acme versus Coyote or Coyote versus Acme, I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Oh.
I want Coyote versus Acme so bad.
But we were talking off mic earlier too that July is shaping up to be a huge movie month. Mm-hmm. And I'm drooling already.
It is. So we've got list them off. You know them off the top of your head.
Yeah, the new Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. We watched the trailer for that before this. Looks good.
Yeah, it does. Scarlett Johansson fighting dinosaurs. I'm in.
I love dinosaurs. Deep inside each of us, there is a 4-year-old child playing with little plastic dinosaurs going right, and we love it.
And then Superman is July 11th.
That's right.
So Jurassic Park is July 2nd. So that's going to be the big 4th of July film.
Yep.
July 11th is Superman, which, mid-July is always a good month for the huge blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
And then Fantastic Four is at the end of the month.
That is a big triple hitter right there. That's a big month.
And hopefully it'll get people in the theaters.
Yeah. And if you do want to go out to a theater right now and you're not sure what to see, go see Companion while it's still around. Yeah. Companion's good.
Or even Flight Risk.
Speaking of good things, I have a different thing than that.
Okay.
How's that for a segue?
Speaking
of good things, here's a terrible one. Emilia Perez. So this is
I've read this.
This has garnered 13 Oscar nominations. I have seen clips of this movie, and I would rather stick any sharp thing into my own earballs than ever watch this piece of crap.
I have this straw.
Can I borrow that real quick? I need to put that in one eye and my straw in the other. It is such utter crap, and it is offensive to the whole plot of this movie is it's a drug lord who then wants to get away from everything and has a sex change operation and then tries to come back and do a crappy Mrs. Doubtfire with his own kids. And they have these horrible music numbers, and the director is a French guy, and they shot this movie that's supposed to be set in Mexico, in France, directed by a Frenchman who said, "I already know what I need to know about both the trans community and the entire country of Mexico." And then they didn't hire people who could actually speak Spanish because the casting director, and I believe this is a quote, didn't think they could find good Mexican actors who already spoke Spanish.
Danny Trejo, is probably wanting to punch somebody out for that statement.
It is time for Machete to make a return. But yeah, so now there's a whole controversy over.
Well, the woman that's nominated for that too withdrew from consideration.
The Carla Sofia Gascon.
Yeah.
So first openly transgender performer to be nominated for the award.
And now she's withdrawn herself from the consideration
for being racist and Islamophobic, which is rich coming from someone who tried to get rid of their own gender.
See, but then there's a film that's been nominated for a bunch of stuff too that is getting a small release right now around the United States called "I'm Still Here," and it's Portuguese with English subtitles. The woman from that is nominated for Best Actor or Best Actress as well, and it's set in Brazil in the 1970s where they were doing a lot of political prisoners. The government was snatching a lot of people up. I think I talked about this before on the podcast.
If not on the podcast, we talked about it in the lobby. I know we talked about it a little bit.
I really want to try to get a chance to see it if I can. Maybe that's what people should be focusing on for Academy Awards instead of this other one that I just roll my eyes every time I see a headline for it now.
Yeah, well, the Oscar campaign is like they're now focusing on Zoe Saldana. And so she's nominated for Best Supporting Actress. It's one voter in the Academy said, "I think it's going to have a huge effect, these uncovered tweets. It left a bad taste in people's mouth," which I would like to respond to by saying, also, your movie did that. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I will say I haven't seen the whole thing, but I have seen scenes from it.
I haven't seen. You've seen more than I have. Then I haven't seen anything.
I could not stand what I was watching, even if the movie was about little puppies and their quest to make their way home from the dog killing mill that they escaped from. Shot and directed the way this one was. That the French have their heads up their butts. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway,
maybe that's why Johnny Depp lives in Paris.
I guess. I mean, if you're gonna have that kind of attitude,
yeah.
Captain America, the Brave New World film is coming next week. We are finally here. Brand new Captain America taking over the mantle from Steve Rogers. And it's not getting good word of mouth.
No, and I'm really worried about that.
I am too, because I was really kind of jazzed for this one. The trailer really got me like, maybe I'll care about...
I was excited for this.
Yeah,
I still am. I still wanted to see it.
I like Sam Wilson as a character, and I like Anthony Mackie's performance.
I like Anthony Mackie as an actor. I think he's very underrated.
Yeah, but this one... It is getting kind of run through the ringer on early reactions. Oh no! I should not have said that, should I have? Oh my goodness!
Made you laugh.
You got me. So yeah, there's like I'm concerned mainly that this is going to be a lot more social commentary and not a lot of fun.
Well, you said that about Falcon and the Winter Soldier too.
Yeah, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was it was mainly focused on what happened to the people who came back after the blip. Where all the people come back and how they're displaced, and people are like, well, we don't have a place for them because it's been these 5 or 10 years or whatever it was, and now people have moved on with their lives. And it's like, it's an interesting idea, but they're treated like the people who got snapped are treated like, I guess, illegal immigrants within their own countries even. I don't know. It's a weird... they're trying to do very socio-political talking about it. And that's not outside the realm of a spy thriller sort of thing, But
isn't that what they're kind of going for with this?
That's... So one of the characters from Falcon and the Winter Soldier is... a guy who was basically Captain America, but America buried him and charged him with war crimes for doing the same exact things that Steve Rogers did. He literally says, I was told not to go, and I went and got those boys back, and when I came back, they threw me in a cell. And so, like, his name's Isaiah Bradley, and I guess, I don't know, there might be a Manchurian Candidate thing. He tries to kill... Harrison Ford after he's elected president in this as William Hurt, as Thaddeus Ross.
Yeah, William Hurt was the guy that did Thaddeus Ross originally.
Yeah, why can't I use my brain? And so I guess there's like he knows something is going on. I guess he knows that Thaddeus is the Red Hulk and he's gonna go nuts or whatever. I don't freaking know. But the point is,
I still want to see it.
I want to see it, but I'm like now very much tempering my expectations. And I hate that I have to do that because I just wanted to be excited for a fun comic book movie.
If we set our expectations low, then we may not be disappointed.
See, but I did that with Love Hurts, and I was still disappointed.
See, I really had hoped that film was going to be a lot better than what it turned out to be.
Me too. Ugh. But yeah, this one, look, if it's lighter on the social, I'm not saying you can't talk about this stuff, and this is something that I find it hard to articulate, but it's not that I don't want movies to talk about real things. It's just that sometimes I want, like The Winter Soldier was not heavy on social commentary. And it's like my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah, that one's really good.
It's just a spy thriller that is there to be entertainment. And Marvel movies, like I get that there's probably a pressure from executives and from investors and stuff to have certain things being represented and whatever, blah, 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 blah.
So could this be almost represent, if this film flops, could this almost mean the beginning of the end for Marvel as a studio? Or is just I know from an exhibitor standpoint, we're not going to expect huge crowds and everything like we used to for Marvel films.
Right, yeah. And I mean, the Marvels did not do super well.
No, that bombed horribly.
Yeah. And apparently it's not even that bad. It just was that people don't like those characters necessarily.
Because Brie Larson looks hot in that outfit, but that movie's bad.
I just couldn't get over how bored I was by the first one. And everyone's like, $1 billion movie, people are going crazy. I'm just like, this was boring, and she's mostly
Captain Marvel.
unlikable.
I didn't think was that bad.
I just thought she was unlikable and cocky, and it's so is Tony Stark, but he's funny. She's not. Not in those movies. So I don't know. But yeah, this one, we'll see.
Because this could be a precursor for Thunderbolts in May. So
we are back to 3 movies in a year from Marvel, aren't we?
Yeah.
For the first time in a while. Yeah.
Then Thunderbolts I'm actually excited for.
Yeah, because it looks irreverent.
Yeah.
It looks just
it's got Florence Pugh in it too.
You gotta love Florence Pugh.
Yes, I do.
A good name. Not as good as... Imogen Poots. My favorite actress name. Close second though, Gugu Mbatha Raw, because it's so fun to say. And she's in a couple of things and she's really good.
Okay.
Jean Reno is going to be in a movie called The Butler, which is a twisty and action-packed Downton Abbey meets Die Hard revenge thriller. And
boy, what a combination that is!
I just wanted to bring it up because I think that it's fun.
Tea, crumpets, and machine guns.
Copyright that name. We're going to make that movie.
Okay.
Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld. He says he refuses to work with Marvel after feeling embarrassed and diminished at Deadpool and Wolverine premiere. And I just got to say, I'm sorry he couldn't get his foot in the door more, but he couldn't draw them, and that's probably why.
Yeah, probably.
Rob Liefeld, famous for not being able to draw feet. He said that he detailed the slights he claims to have experienced at the New York premiere. He was talking to the Robservations podcast. I don't know what that is. He said it wasn't until he was already at the premiere Marvel decided not to invite him and his family to the after party. He also says the Marvel studio boss Kevin Feige failed to acknowledge him despite being near one another on the red carpet. He said it was meant to embarrass, diminish, and defeat me. He
please.
He also claims he posed for professional photos with Deadpool and Wolverine creative team members, but his publicist said Marvel deleted the images. Liefeld thinks Marvel snapped the photos as a courtesy with no intention of using them. However, he noted pictures of him and his family appeared in Disney's Getty Images gallery. At some point, you go, "I've received the message, and the message is clear." So.
So are you not going to cash the check that you got either? Because if
he's going to cash the check.
But Oakmark Way, send it to the theater. We will take it.
Oh goodness, yeah. This is.
I just kind of roll my eyes because how self-important do you think you are?
Yeah, and I mean, he does say he wrote an open letter to Marvel last year stating that Marvel's treatment of creators has never been their strength. Without the worlds, the characters, and the concepts that we create, and in this specific case, the world of Deadpool, there are no films to shoot, no blockbusters to distribute.
Disney has a long history of this.
Absolutely.
So
what did you think was going to happen?
Seriously.
If you go and work at a big company, they own everything you do.
Yes.
And
you.
And you, yes. and one of the things that there was a show called Better Off Ted that I freaking loved. And one of my favorite things from that totally explains corporate mindset with that is when Ted goes and talks to Linda at her desk and she goes, do you know that they send us the bills for any personal calls we make at work? They don't make us pay them. They just want us to know that they know. And I'm just like, yeah, that's the kind of crap that is absolutely being pulled. You are not making billion-dollar blockbusters based on an idea from someone else without screwing someone over.
Right.
That's how this business works. That's why I'm not in California, because I don't want to put up with this crap.
And that's why I run a theater instead of working for a studio.
Yes, but we're happy.
Yep.
Poor, but happy.
I don't have to have a whole bunch of money to be happy.
I don't either. I think I've proven that because I come in here with a smile on my face and sometimes I haven't even paid rent.
But if somebody wants to sponsor the podcast, please send us a check.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to not be poor. I'm not saying don't give me money. But yeah, it's an interesting one. All right, well, let's wrap this up with what is potentially good news, but also terrible news. We have discovered that there is not one, not two, as previously discussed, but three Popeye movies that are coming out.
Popeye horror films.
All horror films. And my mind is blown.
And we've watched the trailer for every one of them, too.
We've watched the trailers that are out there and available. Popeye the Slayer Man. This one is basically a curious group of friends sneak into an abandoned spinach canning factory to investigate the legend of the Sailor Man, who is said to haunt the factory and local docks. This is the one I'm more excited about. Yeah. I think this one looks fun, if not still bastardization, not a curse word, look it up, of the things that we loved as children that are just being ruined by a world full of people who thrive on irony and think sincerity is for the weak. But I say, you're weak. Feel things. Shiver Me Timbers. In 1986, Northern California, Olive Oil, her brother Castor, and friends, Castor Oil, go on a camping trip to see the meteor shower with Halley's Comet. But the night turns to horror as a meteor transforms Popeye into an unstoppable killing machine. And he looks nothing like the sailor that he transforms from at all.
No, because it's like some decrepit-looking old man. And it doesn't even match.
We watched the trailer for this one right before the show, and in your opinion, is it not just garbage?
Oh, yeah.
It looks so, like, the fact that every scene is lit by a softbox just off of camera, and you can tell, like, no one put any thought into the lighting plot. They just said, how can we do this tonight and next weekend for a whole movie? Okay, we have 2 days to film. Just plug a battery into that and move it around with me. Wherever I'm at, be on the left side. It looks really freaking bad. It is mercifully only an hour and 14 minutes. So short, which is good. Popeye the Slayer Man is 128, so it's a full hour and a half.
So it has a little bit more meat to it.
Yeah, or it's just going to have long shots of people walking up to a porch, like in some bad slasher movie, like
Hard Eyes,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That shot goes on for too long, and I get it's for her butt. That's the whole reason that shot is in there. But it is cool that they
have to build up the suspense for that because that's the House of Leatherface.
I know, but like 3 people had already gone in there and died. We're past the suspense part. You're past that. You're now at the build tension by having like just showing her show up in there and being like, oh God, no, not this one too.
No, I thought only one person gets killed before she does.
That's true, but still, I thought it was cool that they dollied under the swing that's out front. And I was like, wow, they really set up this shot and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is just exploitation to look at her butt. And
yeah, well,
there's better butts out there. I'm just saying.
But it's 1974. What do you expect?
I guess not Brazilian implants. The Brazilian butt lift? What is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wasn't actually ogling. I just got bored during that shot and started thinking.
Wait till Hannah listens to this and hears you're
in trouble. She doesn't listen
to
this.
Jessica does. My wife does. So I make sure that
but Jessica
it's nothing I wouldn't say in front of her.
Well, I would also say that in front of Hannah because she would agree with me. She'd be like, yeah, they should have put your butt in there. And because she flirts with me, it's really gross. I know. I know. Look, if you're going to throw up, please do it on that side of the table. That's all.
Seriously.
No, seriously. I don't think she listens to this. If she does, she doesn't tell me she does. But to be fair, she lives with me. We talk about the movies as we're driving home.
Oh, that's true.
It's one of our favorite things to do is to get in the car and I go, "What do you think?"
See, that's funny. Like Jessica and I really didn't talk too much about Love Hurts last night on the way home.
Yeah, we talked about the fact that there's no, in how it's shot and how it's paced and stuff, there's no connection between the leads, and we talked about that really in depth and talked about how we could have done it better, or how it could have been done better. Let me
We have to have a podcast with Hannah on one time.
Yeah, we only had 3 mics when we did Best Christmas Pageant Ever.
Yeah.
And I still only have 3 mics because we need a sponsor to get one more $189 microphone. You can email us at grandreviewpodcast@gmail.com or is it grandreviewpod@gmail.com? I don't know. No one emails us, but please do. Email to both of those and we'll get it. Then there's a third Popeye. We got sidetracked, but this one is, it's called Popeye's Revenge. It's the legend of Popeye haunts a group of counselors as they intend to open a summer camp. Now, this is classic. This is classic slasher.
Is this Jason XI?
As long as it's not directed by the guy who made Hard Eyes, who loves Jason Lives. But yeah, the photos of this one, it looks a little bit more like a low budget film that would be done by people who,
oh my God,
who actually are trying but have no money. You know, the images of Popeye are pretty gruesome. And
that's the poster. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But the lighting at least looks like they knew how to set up a diffusion material from the sun. So good for them. But it's it's gonna be bad year.
Well,
Can't
at least
wait.
for Popeye.
Yeah. Are we gonna watch all these? I think we have to, right? Like,
I guess at some point
we're so fascinated by this concept and the fact that there's 3 of them.
Or are you going to stick me with this and like not watch any of them like you normally do?
I didn't have time to see Hard Eyes with you. That doesn't mean I didn't.
I'm not even referring to Hard Eyes.
Oh, which ones are you? Mufasa?
I'm referring. No, Mufasa. You got spared. No, our internet movie of the week, which is now getting delayed another week.
I'm sorry. We will talk about Wallace and Gromit. I just haven't had time. I'm sorry. I've been making commercials for people, so I'm in the filmmaking. No, it's commercials. It's not filmmaking.
Yeah, it's commercials. It's not no.
I try as hard, but you do have to fit in a box, you know. But yeah, it's Shiver Me Timbers. There's literally the voiceover line that he's selling the movie to you. It's a salesman pitch sort of voiceover. He's like, this movie has drugs, it has sex, it has rock and roll. And did I not literally say the other day, the reason I do what I do is because I couldn't find parts that weren't drugs, sex, and rock and roll in Austin.
Well, it's funny that I probably have the streaming platform that all these are going to pop up on.
Shudder.
Yeah. Because Shudder puts out although the series that I've been watching lately that I really like is Horror's Greatest. Like I really I want to petition them to have me on that.
So would you go on and we should offer to record for them a debate about the efficacy and the need for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Although they had this season, they had an episode called Hidden Gems, and it was like a bunch of horror films that I had never heard of, never seen, and they were there's probably a reason for that too. Like they looked really out there.
That is actually as shocking to me as the first time I told you I haven't seen The Godfather.
Well,
I feel like you did in that moment.
You're a cinephile and you haven't seen The Godfather. That's
I'm more like a cinephony, I suppose. You know,
I would agree.
I play the part, and then when it comes time to back it up, I got nothing.
Although it's funny, I watched the first one with Jessica, and Jessica hated it, and I was like, Italian card revoked.
Sorry, Jessica, can't give it back to you. I haven't seen it either, so I don't have an Italian card.
This is back when Francis Ford Coppola did good movies.
Well, Megalopolis was actually pretty good.
Did you watch that?
No. But I did watch.
Liar.
I watched clips from it, and it is the most baffling thing, performance-wise. Just even if I had context for it, it would be so weird.
It can't be. There was a musical that he did in the 80s called One from the Heart that got really lambasted by critics too. That looks also confusing as to you made this for what reason? But then, there's Bram Stoker's Dracula that I really like too.
Yeah. Well, this Megalopolis is so fascinating to me, but I really just want to be drip fed pieces of it for the next several years.
We talked about actually paying to go see that for the podcast, but it didn't last long enough for us to.
Yes.
It was gone.
We literally couldn't make it.
Nope.
I think that was a mercy. That was God saying, "Hey, I have a plan for your life, and it's better than this."
And it's not seeing this film. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end.
Yep. We're wrapping it up.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it.
We really do. It's so nice to be able to get to do this with a friend every week and to be able to share that with other people who kind of have those same interests.
You have friends? When did this happen?
I have one. And as soon as you leave, I'll have zero. But, no, I really appreciate everyone who listens. And if you like the show, if you leave a review on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, that really helps. And it's just the easiest way to help us, and it costs you nothing, and we don't want your money.
Yeah. No.
Unless you're going to send it. Then we want it. But
unless you're a big corporate sponsor and want to...
Oh, we want your money.
Yeah, well, we want your money. We just don't want to have you tell us how to do things.
Exactly. See, here's the thing. The show won't change, but we will honk your product like we believe it.
Right.
And I think that's a fair trade.
It's just funny that we can't do that with Coke because you hate Coke.
Hey, they're both brown liquids. I could make it look like it's Coke.
See, at least, but I've been doing pretty good for the beginning of this year. I haven't drank hardly any soda.
Oh, wow.
I've been going to water.
Man, I tried real hard, but I keep coming back.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening to whatever that was. Yeah. We love you all. Hit us up on social media, Grand Review Pod, and on Facebook and Instagram. I'll post some of these pictures from these different Popeyes things.
If you know of another one, or if there's anything out there, please let us know. We would love to hear about it.
If we could get to 4 or 5 total Popeye movies for 1 year, I don't know if I'd be happy or depressed, but either way, it would have a major impact on my life.
So I guess that leaves us with only one more thing to say, Garrett.
That's only one more thing to say, and that is we will see you at the movies. Bye.
Take care, y'all.